Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And you know, I have an embarrassment of riches this morning. I do. I always look around for new articles to do videos on, and I got too many to choose from, right? I had too many good options to choose from. I'm recording this on, what day is it? Tuesday, the 24th of January. Probably going out on Wednesday, would be my guess, right? But yeah, I had too many insane articles to choose from. So this is my second choice. Okay, my first choice, I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. That's a CBR, baby. CBR.com. They do not disappoint, right? They never disappoint. But, you know, I'm holding that back. I might do that on a live stream I'm doing tonight. Might do that later in the weekend. I don't know. It seemed too good to just, you know, blow my load too quickly. And believe me, when I read that article, I nearly did blow my load, right? I felt my, like, you know, veins on the side of my head throbbing, right? With, like, utter rage when I saw that should be a good one. But this one, hopefully, it's going to be quite good too, because I'm going to ask you a question out there. Have you ever been given advice from somebody completely and totally unqualified to give you advice? Like, completely unqualified to give you advice. Like, I don't know. Like, look, I am not the most svelte person in the world. I'm not considered the best dancer. In fact, I don't dance. I barely shuffle. And that's when I'm walking, right? If I open a ballet school, right, it probably wouldn't be the best of plans, right? But people who are, like, just unbelievably unqualified to give advice, they're the ones who kind of really like to. I mean, in my local town, we had somebody whose children, one kid was accused by multiple families, apparently, of sexual misconduct, shall we say. I don't actually think anything got too far, but he's certainly on his, it seemed like he was on his way. I do want to say that, you know, the threshold for proof of these things is very high. There was an investigation and nothing was, no charges were brought, as far as I know, right? So there's that, but they eventually end up moving. Thank God for that. Anyway, I digress. But the point is this. And this is I'm not making this up, right? This is 100% truthful. The mother of the child in question, before and now today still continues to run parenting courses. I'm like, maybe you want to like reel that in a little bit, okay? Maybe you want to wind you. No, like, when your kid's accused of molesting multiple children, right? Like, from many people, even if you're exonerated, right? Even if you're exonerated, believe me, I was relatively close to that case. I do hope in the future that the same chap isn't going to be arrested and thrown in jail for 50 years for serial molestation. Yeah, okay. I just hope that's going to happen. Anyway, but maybe wind back on the parenting courses. No, apparently not. Okay, apparently not. None so queer as folk. Okay, none so queer as folk is the answer. Anyway, I digress. Screenrant's been writing again. It's always a good intro. Screenrant has, I'm not sure how many we're going to do, it might just be one, has a bunch of articles giving Russell T. Davies lots and lots of advice on how to write Doctor Who, right? How to do it, because, you know, if I wanted advice on Doctor Who, the first people I'll go to will be Screenrant. Now, if you don't know, I'm being a little bit facetious. Screenrant are like morons that you can't even conceive how dumb they are, right? How little they know of Doctor Who. The worst thing about Screenrant is this. I feel like if you ever read the book The Time Machine or saw the movie, which I quite enjoyed, or listened to any of the many adaptations of it. Big Finish has a good one, right? At the end of time, well, at the end of the time traveler's journey, right? He comes to a point in time where the people of the Earth are just simple, easygoing people. They just sit around all day. They they eat, they drink, they have sex. Essentially, you know what it is? It's like they work at like a Google headquarters, right? It's basically like exactly like that. And it turns out they're being controlled as a food source for they're called the Ilui, and they're controlled as a food source by the evil subterranean dwelling Morlocks, right? So the thing I dislike about Screenrant most, right, is they make me feel like a Morlock because they are so much like a freaking Ilui. Oh god, I can't stand them. Anyway, they have advice. They have advice from Rusty Davies, probably the top screenwriter. I mean, certainly in the country. I mean, do you think anybody's got a higher profile as a television screenwriter in England than Rusty Davies? Jed McCura, I think, is the closest you can get. The guy did Line of Duty, but man, Rusty Davies has some juice, right? He has some serious juice. Yeah, okay. He wanted to do a drama about a forgotten soap star, Noel Gordon, which looks excellent, right? And yeah, boom, that's just produced, greenlit and good to go. Which made me think, actually, bit of an aside, but Russell, I know you watch. I know. Look, firstly, get back to solid work. You got a lot of episodes to write. We want to hear about the spin-offs. We want to hear about everything, right? But Russell, mate. Next time you want to do like a grown-up project, how about doing an adaptation or the story of John Nathan Turner? I was going to say an adaptation of the life and times of John Nathan Turner, right? How about that? I think you are the perfect casting to write that teledrama, because he was screwed over something royally. Very interesting thing. I very much recommend that book. I think Richard Molesworth wrote it. The Life and Scandalous Times of John Nathan Turner. Freaking excellent. I mean, it's really, really good. Russell, you want to make that. Something else you want to do, Russell. And also, anybody else watching, but specifically Russell, hit the like button, the scare button. The scare button? I have a scare button. A share button. Can you add a scare button? Like button, share button, and subscribe button. Can you do all those things? Russell or non-Russell T. Davies. I'll take either people, right? Either group. Group A is Russell T. Davies, who is clearly watching. Absolutely 100% watching, and everybody else. Group number 2, everybody else, right? All of you hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Okay, one last aside, and we'll get to the video. Norm MacDonald had a fantastic joke about the abbreviation ID, right? ID seems to be, it wasn't a very, what's the word I'm looking for, very equitable division of what the letters were representing. The letter I covers the part of the word identification I, and the letter D covers the part of identification that says identification. So you have I taking care of the I bit, the D taking care of the identification. It doesn't seem fair, right? It seems like the D is really doing all the work there. The I is, I want to tell you. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are very, very good. Thank you very much. I am grateful for you doing that. In the video notes, you will find links to all my socials, and let me tell you, your lives will be you will have a shower of good fortune. We call it a golden shower. The Rabbi will golden shower. God, that joke would have worked if I could have kept my face straight, but I couldn't. A golden shower of good luck. Yes, you'll get a. Okay. Can you hit the like, share, subscribe button? Go to the video notes and subscribe to my Twitter, Facebook, not Facebook, screw that. Twitter, Instagram, Substack, that's the one I like. Yeah, my email newsletter. I sent out a good interview with Tom Baker, with Tom Baker yesterday on my Substack. I'll put extra stuff in. Like, this was from, I love archive stuff. It's so fascinating. This was from like 91, right? Or 93. It was in the, the dark years, right? It was then. And I'm not talking about the Whittaker Run. No. The wilderness years, shall we say. So I'll put that in my Substack. So you get extra stuff. It's free. Go sign up for that. Go sign up for everything. It's all very good. I am going to really start intently working on my my paid version soon. So if all I need is some more time in the day, right? That's all I have a full-time job as well. I'm a little bit busy. But anyway, I digress. Important things come first. We need to scream about Doctor Who. We need to take a piss out of Screenrant because they got advice from Rusty Davies. So what's their first bit of advice? Again, don't get excited that we're getting other pieces of advice. It might just be this art. Was it? This article. Might just be this article. Right. Rusty Davies, Doctor Who return. He needs to avoid one mistake. Look, Russell, you're doing well. You haven't done bad, but you made one mistake. Oh, yeah. This is Screenrant telling you from his previous... Oh, this is a mistake from the previous era. Leaving, like somehow seeding Chris Chibnall could somehow take over at some point. I don't know. What are you going to say? One of the mistakes from Rusty Davies' previous era of Doctor Who must be avoided when the next full season is released with Shooting Gatwa as the Doctor. I'd still be surprised if he's the 15th Doctor, but maybe not. I saw an article today saying that they really want the second season of what's it called again? The Addams Family thing Wednesday for her to be gay, right? They really okay. Let me get this out of the way. It's annoying me. Okay, Rusty Davies, much anticipated return to Doctor Who. Why is it much anticipated? Screenrant. Oh yeah, because Christian would destroy Doctor Who. Remember that bit? Oh yeah, okay. No, you don't remember that, do you? Clearly not. It's certainly making the future look bright for the series, but he needs to avoid one major mistake from his previous era of the show. What may that be? Pray tell. Davies revived Doctor Who in 2005 following a 9-year hiatus after a failed 96 TV movie with Paul McGann as 8th Doctor. I thought it was very good. I liked it a lot. It was failed in terms that it didn't lead to a series, right? It was supposed to lead to a series. It was never going to lead to a series, right? In hindsight. It was... The television landscape back then was so different than it is now in 96. And you need to be able to afford to make Doctor Who. You needed a US partner, right? Absolutely, they that's where the money needed to come from. Alan Yentob, I think he was the director general at the time. He very much wanted that to happen. The trouble is, you know, the American system and the English system are very, very different. I think they're much more similar now. And you know, it didn't do well enough in the US to get a series. The Fox already had Sliders going at the time, which they thought was it was the Sliders slot they were angling to get, and I'm glad they didn't because it was cheap and nasty. It needed like a next generation sort of budget, but that's gonna be hard because you got the way they save money on next gen is having those fixed sets every week, right? So it'll be very hard. I think they wanted to do at one point 6 90-minute movies a year. That was huge in the 90s. Oh man, people liked it. Was it Inspector Morse? Those like 2-hour TV movies. They love those, right? That's what they wanted. And it just didn't get enough of audience in the US to get greenlit, which I think is probably a good thing ultimately. And it really wasn't fair. It was a weird show. It went up against Roseanne, which was a juggernaut, where John Goodman had a heart attack that night. So nobody watched it other than me. I was very excited and I thought it looked very cool. I liked it a lot, right? I liked it a lot, but it was somewhat felt. Anyway, so it wasn't like 9-year hiatus. It was on a 15-year hiatus from 89, quite frankly. 17 year. Was it 17 year? 89... 2005, leave me alone, so around there. Okay, close enough. With Paul McGann and the 8th Doctor revitalizing and bringing the long-running TV show to new audiences. After stepping down in 2009, Davies was succeeded by Stephen Moffat and then Chris Chibnall. I think when the word succeeded and Chris Chibnall in the same sentence. I don't know. I think that might be a little bit deceptive. But it was recently confirmed. Was recently confirmed to be returning to the TV show as showrunner 2026 6th anniversary special episodes, which also introduced Shooting Gatwa's 15th Doctor. Okay, yeah, blimey, that was a long time to just get up to like the first sentence. Davies' previous run on the show is widely regarded as the best era of Doctor Who since. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's regarded as being very good. And the best era? I don't know. I think it's all been very good. So 2005 to 2017, I think was pretty darn good. I like pretty much all of it. But, in all fairness, 63, 29, mostly pretty darn good. I mean, look, I do own them all. I bought them on video. I bought them actually. Did I really? Can I say I bought them? No. This is the trick I used to do in the 80s, right? In the 90s, I said no, it was the 80s. When I was a young one, because I couldn't afford the what's the name coming out, all the videos coming out, so I would buy them because you had to get everything on video. Then you had that next generation. I basically buy them in one WH Smith and then go and copy them and take them back and return them and get something different instead. It's okay. See, don't do that, okay? That's really is genuinely stealing. I was young, I wasn't religious at the time. I regret doing that now in hindsight. But that, I guess, it's like illegally downloading today. Say, although a little bit more work went in. Look, man, I had to have my Doctor Who. Are you crazy? No, that had to happen. But anyway, that's what I did as a callow youth. You let me know how you broke the law as well in the comments, but not currently. Otherwise, if you haven't returned your thing to Blockbusters, let me know. So where we're with both Moffat's and Chibnall's era coming under a variety of criticism. What utter bullshit! Oh my god! Oh no, Rusty Name was great, but Moffat and Chibnall they had equally rocky times. What utter bullshit. And do you not remember the 50th anniversary? It was like 10 years ago. The relentless praise being heaped onto Stephen Moffat. No, it was very successful. Do you remember how big it was very successful. I mean, No, nobody was pissed with Stephen Moffat, mate, okay? And don't put him in the same sense as Chris Chibnall. Okay. Ratings did decline somewhat under Stephen Moffat towards the end. I would say almost certainly this was a result of the interference of the weird sociological ESG political bullshit that's in everything right now, right? When they're like, oh no, we got to be inclusive. That means we can't include anyone. What? Yeah, no. If you don't agree with us, we're not including you. But I think we said inclusive. We want to be inclusive. Oh yeah, we want to be inclusive. Well, can you include me? No. Why not? Well, you're a white man. Isn't that racist? No! How's that not racist? Because you're a white man. That's really how the conversation goes, right? It's very strange. This is weird times. Anyway, I digress. But that's when the ratings started to go downhill. When you could so very clearly say, oh, no, yeah, you got to make Clara into a equal to the Doctor. I'm sorry. You can't. You can't have a 1,000-year-old alien who's a hero, travels in time and space and can basically do anything, and a 19-year-old shop girl be equals. They're not! Oh, I just described Rose. What was the description of Clara? I don't know. Smug pain in the ass. Still shaggable, though. I mean, like... I would like to hope that she'll be less smug while having sex. Although, if that turns you on, right, I can see many people going for that. Okay, never think there isn't a kink for something. There's a lot out there. Many are excited to see Doctor Who return to its former glory after a tumultuous few years under the guidance of Chris Chibnall. Oh, now you get closer to telling the truth. Who has led some of the most divisive storylines in Doctor Who history. It's not the storylines, okay? Storylines is actually more of a symptom than the actual cause of the problem, right? The storylines were awful because he cut right and he substituted shock and what's the word I want to use? Social like wokeness, okay? Wokeness for one about what's woke? That doesn't mean anything. Yes, it does. And it means something because that's why you're saying it doesn't mean anything. Because you don't want to deal with the criticism of something's woke. So you want to pretend there's no such thing. Yes, it is. It's the platforming of ideology on an existing successful property which has a fan base. So you can reach large amounts of people and you can propagandize through that successful property to convince them that men have babies and women have penises. Okay, that's what you did, right? That's what being woke is. And yes, it is replete with examples of that in Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. The biggest example was nobody fucking wanted to watch it. Have you noticed that? That's normally a big example, isn't it? Oh, yeah, that one. Oh, no, that's just TV audiences in general falling. No! No, Doctor Who fell further because they were more invested in that bullcrap. Anyway, let's get back. Even so, there's one major missing element from the Davies' previous era that he needs to employ now when returning to the series. What the fuck have you done with your life, mate? You're lecturing Rusty bloody Davies. Like, what? Oh my god. The Doctor can time travel. So why didn't Rusty Davies use it? Because it's not about that. Right? That actually detracts from that. Doctor Who is about relationships and morality, I would say, right? Adventuring. That's about a lot of things. It's not, I mean, the time travel is a device. It's not but yeah, you're a moron, so you can't really work out the difference. I get it. I understand you're a moron. How do I know you're a moron? Because you're writing for Screenrant. How do I know that, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who was woke? Because nobody watched it. It's simple, right? None of these things are complicated. Doctor Who's trademark is a titular Time Lord ability to travel through time and space using his remarkable TARDIS. No, it's a plot device saying you can set it anywhere, anytime. That great, what was it, season 5, Matt Smith's first season ad, that was one of the best season trailers I've ever seen. Where was he? He was talking to Amy Pond. Tell me where you want to go, anywhere you want, anywhere in time. Just one rule: it's got to be brilliant, right? That was great. That was very, 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 very good, right? I was impressed with that. But it was just to get you somewhere to have a story, right? And then you arrive somewhere and something happens, and the dog says, "You run that way, I'll run this way," and then you get four episodes, right? With some quite nice incidental music most of the time. Hey, fine. It was based on using remarkable task, but Davies never really uses this plot device beyond landing the Doctor in different periods throughout time, throughout history. Have you ever thought, right? And this is so common today, that when you don't understand something, you assume the other person's wrong, right? Have you ever thought that you just don't understand it because you don't understand it, right? Do you think the problem's with you? No, none of that. Time travel is the heart of Doctor Who. No, it's not. And it's the base of all the Doctor's stories. No, it's not. No, it's like it's you got to go to different points and different places to have a similar battles over and over and over again. But that's not the point at all. Again, it's a an anti-establishment authority figure, essentially, who rails against injustice, right? It's a heroic show, but I guess as these people don't understand heroism, that could be that might be why they're confused. They're like, "Whoa, I understand, what's heroism?" It's when you're not a massive pussy, right? And you don't venerate being a massive pussy. Oh, I don't understand. I know you don't, darling. When the TARDIS lands in Elizabethan or 5 billion years in the future, so it's a shame that Rusty Davies seemed to forget this. Oh yeah, he seems to forget it. Silly Billy, little silly Billy seemed to forget it. This became even more evident after Stephen Moffat era stories, since Moffat used time travel as a key plot point through many of his stories. He used it more. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. I think the Weeping Angels came in Rusty Davies though. Right? Yeah, no, he did much more interesting. I agree with you, and I think the stories became somewhat less populist at that point because they became harder for normies to understand, which is really the key, right? That's really the absolute key of where you want to be with Doctor Who. You want the normies to understand what the hell you're doing, because the normies are your audience. It's not you. It's not me. It's not Twitter. It's the normies. You want the normies to understand. Captain Jack was originally going to be called Captain Jax, Jax, but he thought that was too science fiction-y for the normies. He knows who he's writing for, right? And I think the immense charm of Matt Smith, and being pretty darn good looking as well, offset that somewhat. And it was very, so you had these very, very labyrinthine, complicated plots that normies couldn't understand, but then you had all this like fun, kind of like jokey tap dancing stuff, well, not literally tap dancing stuff with Matt Smith and Karen Gillan, another huge talent. Which I think was able to balance out that stuff, right? But you have to do that sparingly, right? Which is, I think, one of the biggest problems of the Matt Smith's era, right? His final story, there was a Time of the Doctor, just tied up all the plot threads, and but it's still entertaining, right? The normies watched it on Christmas, right, and were entertained, right? But tied up all the plot threads, and it was very plot heavy, and I think they backed down for that slightly in the Capaldi years, right? But at the same time, they wanted Clara to be like, oh yeah, Clara's got to be an equal to the Doctor. Since Moffat used through many stories, Stephen Moffat showed how brilliantly Doctor Who's time travel can work. Well, this is a Rusty Davies era story you're referencing right now, right? I just, again, the levels of dumbness emanating from this, like the levels of dumbness coming off this is, I would say, somewhat nuclear. Like, this is nuclear dumbness. Stephen Moffat's era Doctor Who used time travel not only as a means to get the Doctor to his next venture, but also cleverly use it as a plot. You just fucking said that in several episodes. Literally, you said that. Held to progress the story while also being subtle enough to avoid being predictable. It was never predictable. This perhaps is best shown in the Doctor's relationship with River Song. Well, that's really the whole point of it. Honestly, I think the best use of time travel, right? I get that off the top of my head, in the Moffat years, was Capaldi Christmas special, which nobody really liked other than me, right? It was like, I did a rewatch of all of them. They're really good, right? It was the husbands of River Song. So they're on this spaceship that crashes, right? And they get out the spaceship and it's like devastation everywhere and everything's on fire, right? And then I think River Song's unconscious and Capaldi just quietly goes to the TARDIS and like dulls it forward 10 years or something like that. So everything's calmed down, then dulls it forward to this restaurant. But that was great. That really worked well. But again, that was really a lot based on, it was all about the relationship between Capaldi and Alex Kingston. I think, was that the only episode they met? Probably. Yeah, it must be, because you didn't recognise him. Steve, okay, well, he was trying to means of getting major. Fine. Helping rest story while also being a certain way to avoid predicting it. This is perhaps best shown in the Doctor's relationship with River Song. He never met her and the right order, and they shared because they shared time travel abilities. Not only this, but the episodes such as the 11th Hour, Pandora Grove, and The Girl Who Waited, and they used time quite well on that one, and Before the Flood, are also perfect examples of where Moffat used time travel to the story's advantage. Well, again, did he? The Girl Who Waited, who wrote that? I can't remember. That wasn't Chris Chibnall. I don't think it was. Maybe it was. Did they use? Yeah, but a lot of these. I mean, he was a showrunner, but he didn't write those, right? Funnily enough, the only stories that used time travel as a plot device during Davies' run were written by Stephen Moffat. Blink, and also, Silence of the Library. That's the point of it. So the Doctor, trapped in 1960, was able to communicate with Sally Sparrow through a present-day transcript he hadn't yet given. That was just Stephen Moffat being clever and using DVD extras as a plot, as a way to get Doctor out of trouble. Right? That was really. I love that episode, Blake. Man, I got to give that a rewatch. Was it Sally Sparrow through present-day scripts that he hadn't yet written? And in the Silence of the Living, Forest of the Dead two-parter, okay, you just fine. Now you're throwing this in. He saw the introduction of River Song at the end of her life. even though the Doctor hadn't met her before. Rusty Davies should utilize time travel more as a story point in his upcoming era of Doctor Who from the previous showrunners, learning from the previous showrunners, making a brilliant format even better. God, you're so dumb. God, this guy is so dumb. That was really painfully dumb. Let's see if they get any dumber. Doink! Rusty Davies, Doctor Who Return can revive one wasted... Is this the same person? This is the same person, 2 days apart. Kai Young. Okay, Kai Young. Let's see what you got to say about... What's your other sage-like advice for Rusty Davies? Okay, let's see what you have to say. Rusty Davies, blah, blah, blah. Rusty Davies' return could revive one wasted event. Rusty Davies' return could see several of his previous characters return, including one much-loved enemy who needs a reinvention. What you mean after Chris Chibnall took a shit over the Weeping Angels, right, and made them boring. How do you make the Weeping Angels boring? May I introduce Chris Chibnall? Maybe we can make them into like a taxi service. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's great, Chris. Yeah, that's going to work out really well. Yeah, it's going to be right up there with Kay's Answers, Arnie, darling. Rusty Davies returned to Doctor Who to see the blah, blah, blah. Several long-running videos featuring Chris Eccles, David Tennant, the 9th and 10th Doctor, respectively, while Stephen Moffat's subsequent era received generally positive reception. Chris Chibnall led one of the most divisive eras of Doctor Who, so Davies' return is highly anticipated amongst fans. Yes, exactly, we agree. While the return of Davies to the role as showrunner, there is speculation which characters from his era might return. Along with David Tennant, Catherine Tate will reprise the role as Donna Noble. My guess, John Barrowman is getting a call, right? That's my guess. I bet that'll be a deal breaker. I'd love to know that. With the BBC, they say, Rusty said, look, I'm going to bring back Doctor Who, I'm going to revive its fortunes, going to make the deal with Disney Plus, going to be bigger than ever, we're going to make much more money, but I am planning on bringing back Captain Jack, John Barrowman. They're like, fuck you. No, he's not coming back. Yeah, again, that book I mentioned earlier, The Life and Scandalous Times of John Nathan Turner, there's a chapter that said the BBC never forgive those that they've wronged, right? And boy, is that the fact. That is so true. Fine. So with the return of Davies as the showrunner, there's speculation about where Donna Noble still is unclear where the adventures of sex education style shooting Gatwa will find himself when he becomes the 15th Doctor alongside new companion Ruby Sunday, played by the gorgeous Millie Gibson, and she is gorgeous. Davies had the perfect opportunity to take a familiar villain from previous season's Doctor and make them terrifying once again. Well, what could have happened to make them not terrifying? Oh, Jodie Whittaker. The Weeping Angels were ruined under Stephen Moffat. Not under Stephen Moffat. No. Excuse me. Time of the Angels and Flesh and Stone. Was that one? Awesome. That was some of the best Doctor Who ever. That was, oh my god. That was like Patrick Troughton Doctor Who with a modern budget. That was fantastic. Doctor Who Season 3 episode 10, Blink introduced the world to the Weeping Angels, a race of super fast killers who turn to stone as soon as they're seen. Well, they kind of broke that rule immediately, you know. Well, actually, no, they weren't being seen. You saw them move in like their third episode. Sorry, so as soon as they can see, the Weeping Angels used to be a terrifying concept, especially since the 10th Doctor and Martha Jones, Freeman, fell victim to their time displacement trickery and their very first episode. Despite having a very strong, mysterious start on Doctor Who, the Weeping Angels have now become commonplace as one of those regular Doctor Who enemies, which have ruined their sinister nature of these incredible creatures. Well, yeah, again, we're talking Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall. Yes, they ruined it. That's true. Great cliffhanger, though, right? How the Doctor turned into a Weeping Angel? Great cliffhanger. That was good. Stephen Moffat and Chris Chibnall used the Weeping Angels in abundance. No, they didn't. No, they didn't, mate. There was one story, wasn't there? I think. Hang on, let's have a look. Weeping Angels Doctor Who stories. So we got Village once upon a time. Oh, the Angels take Manhattan. That was a little bit ropey, right? But I don't think that ruined their lore at all. No, right? I knew there was another one there. I kind of like the one with the little cherub angel that blew out the match. I thought that was kind of cool. Where are we up to? Time with the Angels. It was another bit the Angels can't move when they're seen, even by each other, but when Time of the Angels and Flesh and Stone threw this out the window, they showed them moving, even when they are seen by each other. Yes, I remember. The Angels take Manhattan, Amy and Rory, Karen and Darvel. Final episode had elements of horror, but this was cheapened by the Statue of Liberty being turned into an angel. I don't think that was cheapened at all. I thought that was actually part of the established angel lore, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought that was quite clever, right? I know people didn't like it. Blink was one of Rusty Davies' scariest episodes. Well, that is true. Blink marked the debut of the Weeping Angel. Okay, this guy just really liked Blink. Okay, that's basically what he's saying. I really like Blink. Can we have some more of that? That's his point. Blink marked the debut of the Weeping Angels in Doctor Who, acting as a self-contained episode that featured Carey Mulligan and Finlay Robertson as Sally Sparrow and Larry Nightingale. Two regular humans pitted against the Weeping Angels with the help of the Doctor from the past. Yeah, using DVD extras. It was very cool. I really think it was very clever. The reason having DVD extras be the delivery device, it was so contemporary, right? It was so. This was what 2006, 2007. It was a thing we all did. We were into, right? The episode leaned heavily on horror elements that go hand in hand with the Weeping Angels, and set the stage for them to become one of the Doctor's most menacing enemies. Interesting, Stephen Moffat himself wrote Blink and invented the Angels and created the creepy aliens. So it's curious that the Weeping Angels were taken in such a strange direction after their terrifying debut. No, I think they were given listen, it was intimated they were Time Lords from the end of time. But they never followed through on that. Like, they never ever, like the Doctor's mother or whoever it's supposed to be, go, oh, yeah, like, they never followed through on that. The commercialization of the Weeping Angels after the commercialization of the Weeping Angels. Oh, no! I like the old days with the Weeping Angels before they became so commercial. Really? I don't want the commercialization of the Weeping Angels. After Blink seriously damaged their fear factor since they were introduced as a mysterious force to their initial moments, but they were explained to death in subsequent seasons. Not really, right? Moffat and Chibnall used Weeping Angels as one of the Doctor's primary antagonists. No! 2 stories with Moffat. I'm sorry. And then Criminal Chibnall started to use him because he was failing terribly and it needed something that would get people to watch his piece of shit show, right? Why was nobody watching? Can I just reiterate? Because it was woke as fuck. That's why. How do we know it's woke as fuck? Because nobody watched it. That's why. Featuring some of the Doctor's bigger, but the Weeping Angels work best when the story is kept low key as it was during Blink. Oh, he's back with his advice again. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed advice, Rusty Davies. Telling the story from a perspective of 2 regular people allow the audience to put themselves into the action, which create. Yeah, we can't do that every time. Which created an even more sinister atmosphere. It got everyone. I burped and I coughed and I hiccuped all at the same time. That was really bizarre. Where are we up to? They put themselves in action and created an even more sinister atmosphere that got everyone to think twice about passing statues in the street. I mean, that whole bit with Amy was like, when she had to keep her eyes closed in the Flesh and Stone. That was brilliant. Weeping Angels need to be scary again. In recent years, Doctor Who has become considerably more light-hearted. No, in the Whittaker years, not light-hearted, more stupid, right? It became considerably more stupid. How do we know? You're writing about it. With the concept of Doctor failing, with the concept of Doctor failing in their battles become less and less believable. What? With the concept of the Doctor failing in their battles becoming less and less believable. I don't understand what you're trying to say. The fact that Blink showed the Doctor and Martha had already fallen victims of the Weeping Angels meant that the stakes were raised even higher, and it was up to normal people to save the day. Yeah, it was a clever double-banked episode because they filmed so many they weren't available enough. David Tennant and Billy Piper wasn't available enough to film them. They needed an episode off. Rusty Davies, normal people save the day. Rusty Davies' return to Doctor Who can bring some danger and gravitas back to the series and revitalize the Weeping Angels would be a perfect way to do this. Indeed, yes. Davies can take the Weeping Angels back to their basics, and not an army running through a spaceship. They were great. Okay. Flesh and Stone, when you had the angels showing up and the lights kept going off and they're shooting them, and it was just the light on the bullets. That was brilliant. I'm sorry, you're just a moron. Or them being the source of knowledge on the Division, like they were in Chris Chibnall's Flux event. It's forgotten. Okay, I can't wait to bloody November so we can just get this retcon out the bloody way. Oh, that'll be so good. Despite being an overwhelming threat, the Weeping Angels are better when shrouded in mystery. Well, I do agree. Like their whole rollout, like the genesis of the Angels, and it has never really got down that well. It's never really happened, and it's been a lot of kind of confusing stuff. But honestly, what was it again? Flesh and Stone, when they realized that they mentioned it in the middle of the episode, the aliens had two heads, and they realized all the statues only have one head, and they realized they're all aliens. Angels. Freaking awesome. That was just awesome. And even better when Doctor Who isn't facing them head on as in Blink. As Blink proved. No, he was pretty darn good. They were so much scarier in Flesh and Stone. I'm sorry. And I love they had that element of cruelty they added in. Right? That was great. I mean, again, not great, but it was really scary, right? Doctor has always been renowned for being a scary series, dating back to the first introduction of Darkness in 1963. So it's hardly a revival they were on last year. Reviving the terrifying Weeping Angels and bringing them back some horror back into the world of Doctor Who would be a perfect choice of Russell T Davies. It will be a perfect choice of Russell T Davies. Never, ever, ever, ever do anything that Screenrant says. Right? Never, ever listen to them under any circumstance. Don't do that, right? That would be perfect, Rusty Davies. That's probably a perfect way to reinvent the show. Don't listen to Screenrant. Why should you not listen to Screenrant? It's easy. It's an easy answer. It's because they are freaking morons, right? That's the answer. That's all you really do. They are morons. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. Yeah!